Well, hello and welcome to Beat the Reset. My name is Tim and I am the guy in the hat, and today I have my very good friend and associate, Carmelle Pavan from As Good as Gold. How are you, Carmelle?
I love that I'm your friend. It's a wonderful relationship we have. Thank you, Tim. Really well. How are you?
I'm always good, Carmelle, and obviously this conversation today is going to be about some experiences that we had recently with some scams that we had with one of our clients. But before we get to that, I wanted to just quickly touch on an event that you've got coming up, and I wanted to just sort of reiterate to our audience that we have an amazing event. Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's called Are You Prepared? Create a Blueprint for Indestructible Wealth for Yourself. Now, what's that all about? We'll be talking at the event. Well, it's basically an in-depth understanding of the forecasting of the global monetary system, what the whole digital system is going to mean, how it's going to affect your life, and it will, Tim, significantly, won't it? Mm-hmm. Also, the benefits of a decentralized system, which precious metals is, what the value of precious metals is, why you should consider purchasing precious metals, self-managed super funds. We'll also have an audience Q&A so you can ask any questions that are relevant to creating indestructible wealth for yourself. Tim, you're presenting, I'm presenting, and we have a very special guest speaker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting excited. I mean, we also get to meet people and we get to share our knowledge. And you're speaking, of course, and we're expecting 100 to 150 people. I would say we should easily get to that. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And we might, is there anything else you'd like to mention about that event?
Absolutely. How about the important stuff like it's on March the Thursday,
of course.
March
the
the
date.
7th. Yep, Thursday, March the 7th.
Why
not? Doors open around 6:30 p.m. We start the event around 7 p.m. Manningham Hotel in Berlin. Mm-hmm. So it is a Melbourne-based event. We are live. We're not recording. We're selling tickets via Eventbrite. Food will be served as well as refreshments, and we will also, Tim, have cash tickets at the door. Beautiful. For those of you who maybe last minute or don't want to use Eventbrite, yes, we'll have tickets at the door, but give us a call just for catering purposes as well. You'll have our information on the bio, Tim, so call our office, call our Melbourne office, our 1300 number, as well as our email if you want to get in touch. We would love to see you. We do think it's an event that you really can't afford to miss.
100%. And given in the light of what we're about to talk about today, this is why I wanted to use it as a bit of a segue here. Tell us about the topic that we're going to talk about today, Carmelle.
Yeah, the topic's really, it's becoming more and more prevalent in our society, Tim. It's a very serious issue involving scams. Now, these scams have never been involved, as far as I'm concerned, with precious metals, which is, the tangible, physical asset, gold and silver. These scams are occurring around the digital space.
Yeah.
We had a client recently, we won't mention names, of course, but you had 5 consultations with this client. I had 3 meetings. We were basically talking about a very significant purchase of precious metals, over $500,000. Yeah. The client was going to basically cash out of her investment fund, which was an offshore investment facility or platform with real people where she spoke to them on a daily, if not weekly basis, including management. And when she was advised to basically transfer all her digital currency back into her ledger, into her bank account to purchase the precious metals, within 24 hours, all gone. So that was the elaborate scam.
Yeah, and these scams seem to prey on the vulnerable. I mean, that would be a fair way to say it. Would you not agree with that? I mean, would you say this particular person was in a vulnerable? What is? I guess the question is what causes people to fall for these scams? What do you think it is predominantly that is there any one thing?
I think there's a few things. I think if you're in a certain age bracket, that perhaps digital, that you're not a digital naive, digital intuitive person. So if you go to, I'll give you an example. If you go into a store and you buy something and you go home and it's broken, falls apart, you go back to the store, you get a refund. You take your physical product and there is that exchange, there is that policy, there is that understanding. You've got a physical person in front of you and you have someone to communicate. In the digital world, there's nothing physical.
Yeah.
Even though, for example, the client was speaking to the investment brokerage, she had them on a Zoom or a Teams meeting. You can see they're physically there. You can't touch them, you can't feel, you can't go into the office, and that is a big issue where there's a level of assumption and naivety and vulnerability of people who believe the digital world is just like our physical world. It is not. So the level of vulnerability, yes. I hate to say, but sometimes the older persons or the older people, I mean, maybe 45, 50 plus, who aren't really familiar with the digital space, have the assumption that everything is real.
Yeah.
Not even questioning that it may not be. And so I think that's one of the biggest issues, as well as believing subconsciously this won't happen to me. This can't possibly be unreal. It has to be real. I'm speaking to real people. And look at the platform. Look at the website. Looks real.
Yeah.
How would you know the difference? I think they're the elements of this person who has been scammed and many others that we've known of. I've had personal friends as well, the same scenario, where it looks so real and you don't ever think that it's not possible that this is a scam, an elaborate one at that.
Oh, we've all kind of been tricked at some stage. I don't know if you've had an experience with it. I certainly have.
Yep.
Even beat the reset. About a year ago, we had the channel cloned 5 or 6 times, and I couldn't tell which one was mine.
Wow.
No one else could either. And I lost a lot of clients to a lot of scammers who were pretending to be the guy in the hat. And they were actually using my posts and posting my posts as if it was me.
Yeah.
And and then they started giving financial advice. Well, I don't do that. The one giveaway, though, was that they were talking about buying specific types of cryptos, which I would never, ever recommend.
But Tim, if you're not experienced, how would you know?
Correct.
How would you know?
You wouldn't have any idea. So now, and you talked about tangible assets, and that's where your company comes in. So tangible assets give you what? I mean, why is this a better option? I guess though, just before we get to that, I mean, there is an education here. I mean, people who don't know about precious metals are never going to invest in precious metals. If, with this particular client that we're talking about, she didn't really think of that first off. She opened up her email. She saw an email from somebody who looked pretty cool, and promising her all sorts of stuff. And that's
an investment bank.
An investment.
Or an investment firm.
An investment firm.
With credentials, with everything lined up, with managers who could speak with her, etc.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is we're talking about, number one, beware of cryptocurrency investment scams.
Yes.
Beware of all these types of scams. If it's looks too good to be true, or if you're not sure, ask an expert. And you're one of them, Tim. So,
well, I think in the end, it's as you say, it's all about education. It's about knowledge, and why. I guess the big question I've got is, if the risk is let's go back a step. If it's too good to be true,
like for example,
that old saying,
promising unrealistic high returns. Sure, you're going. We'll give you 7,000% on your dollar.
And we were talking before about Nigerian princes, and you get these generals, army generals from the United States. Hi, I'm an army general, and I'd love. Can I give you $1 million? And can you look after? Have you heard of all these sorts of things?
They're also appealing to people who are looking for love, essentially.
Well, we're all looking for love.
Yeah. And so, there are scammers who tune in to your soft spot.
Yeah.
And therefore they know
your vulnerabilities,
your desire. So this particular client, her desire was she's on a pension, so she inherited quite a bit of money, and her desire was to actually make her money count, increase over time, and perhaps give it to her grandchildren.
That was the hard part when I spoke to this lady. She was doing it for dynastic wealth, in other words, for her grandchildren, and now she's lost the whole lot. As far as we know, I mean, we're still obviously trying to get this thing back. But that is how quickly it can all be over. And that was the entire, her husband's entire
over $500,000.
his life savings, you know.
So one thing we just recommend, apart from, do your due diligence, ask the experts, be aware of cryptocurrency investment scams.
Yeah, definitely.
And consider diversification. Consider the security of tangible assets, precious metals.
Zero counterparty risk. Yeah.
It's physical. We'll deliver it to you, to your door or wherever you like.
Yeah.
You hold it. No one knows you have it when it's in your hands. It is the alternative that we are really using this very unfortunate example to put the word out there to be aware and also consider tangible assets,
Absolutely.
Gold and silver. It's a safe haven investment. In fact, it is insurance. And it is, I do believe, the most safe haven investment now that we have. Because guaranteed, it's physical.
Well, it's about risk. I mean, I talk about digital assets on the channel. I talk about ISO 222s on the channel and this long game investment in digital assets. But one thing I advocate is, first of all, get yourself a known exchange. Yep. I use CoinSpot. CoinSpot's got an excellent reputation, by the way. I only deal in ISOs because, of course, they are globalist approved technologies.
Yes.
And then beyond that, what I say to people is, before you go to the casino, make sure you've got your bedrock of wealth stored in something that is commoditized. Otherwise, you would, there's an old saying, you don't take your bank account to the casino, because we know what happens. So I think what I want to say is, cash within a commercial bank or digits on a screen in a commercial bank is a relatively high risk on reset. So you can move to low risk, zero counterparty risk commodities, physical gold and silver, get your bedrock of wealth sorted, and then you can go to the casino and maybe push about 5 to 10% into a cash producing digital asset, which is volatile. I mean, it's a high risk. Even doing it yourself, it's high risk,
And just on that as well, couldn't agree more, Tim, and we tell our clients this all the time. What you need to consider is how much you can afford to lose. So what you can't afford to lose, purchase the tangible assets, look at the commodity of precious metals, diversify. You may even want to consider, for example, Australian gold mining company shares. Mm-hmm. Because it stands to reason. Yep. We're selling more gold. It's in greater demand. It will increase to be in demand as the months go on. We know that, given the geopolitical and economic situation of the Western nations and what the Eastern Bloc is doing, and that whole reset that you talk about. And then whatever you have that you can afford to lose, sure, invest it in something high risk like a digital currency. Correct.
Yeah, that's right. But only when you've got your bedrock sorted. Yeah. And the other thing with investments is cash flow. Make sure you've got cash flow. The thing about commodities is they're not a cash producing asset, even though you can remunerate and you will improve your positions. It technically isn't a cash-producing asset. So the great thing about digital assets is they give you that. In fact, with CoinSpot, you get a MasterCard with it. So you can actually go and use that as your trading account.
Yep.
You don't have to use your bank account. And the other thing, of course, is we're also voting against this new central bank digital currency by owning commodities. Yes, 100%. You're going to vote against fiat currencies. But by having digital assets, it gives you a diversification against the central bank digital currency. So your digital assets in the future will become like cash is to the system now. Whilst the central banks know you need it and know that you use it, they hate the fact that you've got it. It's disruptive. Yeah, but you've got to make sure that you know what you're doing with this stuff. Otherwise, as you know, you're going to lose the whole lot.
And that's now. And then in future, we're getting ready to basically see that our digital currency then will be highly regulated to a certain degree.
Will be. It already
right.
is. In the US,
right.
Executive Order 14067 is a regulatory framework. And we've got a bunch of blockchain technology, blockchain standards coming out. We've got ISO TC 307 coming out now, which will probably morph into something at some point. So, yeah. But look, in closing, though, I mean, I guess the point is that you offer a diversification that is highly secure, commodities. Yep. Precious metals.
Absolutely.
People don't have to, there is no risk associated with physical commodities because you are the central bank.
And also, you can sell back to us. So if you need to create some new funds within 24 hours, absolutely, you could sell back your precious metals to us as well.
You know, and I was just going to jump in, and the thing about commodities, if you fail at commodities, you become 10% wealthier year on year. Even if you fail at it.
Tim, our live charts on the website, and you can validate this anywhere where you can see the spot price of gold. It has increased in value 25 to 27% on average per annum for the last 23 years.
Yeah, it's a pretty good investment.
Very good. So we cannot stress enough, stay informed, stay educated. Knowledge is the best defence against scam. Well, we know knowledge is power anyway. So the best defence against scams is to have as much knowledge as possible, ask the experts, look at diversification. If you're interested in precious metals, we would love to have a conversation with you anytime. Our team are here to assist. And definitely our event on Thursday, the 7th of March, we would love to see you. If you need any information, absolutely come along, give us a call, email. But are you prepared, Tim? I think we can't stress enough, are you prepared with what's coming down the line?
Absolutely. And I'll put links to your company, I'll put links to your event in there. That's the March 7 Are You Prepared event, Melbourne. And people can get along and buy tickets from Eventbrite or tickets at the door. It's going to be a fabulous night. Meet lots of fabulous people. Well, Carmelle, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And
yep.
I hope if you're listening that you get a lot out of these little podcasts and you get to meet some of the characters in the industry and some of the people. It's all about people, in my opinion. Well, until I see you next time, Carmelle, again, thanks for coming in, although I'm the one that came in. And that's it for me, the guy in the hat. And as always, look after your health. That's your number one non-negotiable. Look after your beautiful families, love, gratitude, all of those things. Look after your neighbours as well. Check in with them, make sure they're okay. And as always, make good choices.